INOX as well as Cinepolis. Ashwin?
That's right. You know, this is definitely a massive deal that is brewing in the multiplex space. And if this deal indeed fructifies, then it could shake up the entire pecking order as far as the domestic multiplex space is concerned, with PVR right at the top. And then you have, of course, Inox Leisure and Cinepolis. What I'm given to understand from multiple sources familiar with ongoing negotiations is that Inox Leisure as well as Cinepolis India, which is the Indian arm of the Mexican movie giant, both of them are in fact kick-started discussions for a potential mega alliance. I'm given to understand from sources that Inox Leisure as well as Cinepolis India have in fact started discussions, kick-started discussions and talks to evaluate the possibility of a merger, a potential merger between both the companies. Now, these discussions that have kick-started between Inox Leisure as well as Cinepolis India are currently at a preliminary stage. Now, what could be the triggers for these discussions to take place? A, you'll reach economies of scale. B, there'll obviously be a greater market share. And then, of course, both of these firms are very ambitious when it comes to greater market reach and access to more consumers and bigger markets. So these are some of the driving factors behind the merger. And of course, if both these firms combine their forces, then of course they can take on the current market leader, which is PVR Cinema. The talks, mind you, are at an initial stage, so it may not be necessary that these talks may fructify into an eventual transaction, but we do understand from our sources that these talks are taking place. And if you look at the pecking order which I was referring to earlier, PVR Cinemas, according to his website, operates about 711 screens across India. If the merger or the proposed merger between Inox Leisure as well as Cinepolis India fructifies, then that combined capacity will have screens of more than 800. So it will surpass PVR. So that seems to be the mathematics at play over here. We have reached out to both the parties seeking an official response. Cinepolis India has declined to comment. We have tried to reach out to Inox Leisure. We have sent them mails and made repeated phone calls and texts to the management and the communications team, but we're yet to hear from them. Of course, once Inox Leisure responds, we will update our story. But this is the big transaction that is brewing in the multi-spec space. Inox Leisure and Cinepolis India are in talks for a potential merger.
Tell me, if this alliance is to take place, Ashwin, what could be the total count of screens that we're looking at? That's Cinepolis as well as Inox?
Right, Aisha. So that's a very important statistic to keep in mind, because at the end of the day, both these players, as well as Cinepolis India and Inox Leisure, they are very ambitious, like I pointed out. In fact, the management of Cinepolis India recently was on record to say that they are in fact looking to pump in around 1500 crore rupees to add an additional 500 screens. Now, coincidentally, if you look at the number of screens that Inox Leisure has, they have a little more in excess of 500 screens. So it perfectly fits in to the plans that Cinepolis India has. If you combine both the entities, 512 or 520 plus 350, we are talking about a combined capacity of about 823 screens roughly. And that, based on current statistics at least, will be higher than market leader PVR Cinemas' 711 screens. So that's what we're looking at if at all this transaction goes through and fructifies. It's clearly a very competitive space, and there is going to be a lot of consolidation in this space going ahead. This is one of them which we are picking up from our sources, a very key one, and we'll keep a close watch on it in the days to come.